Let's welcome our elected officials. Tony, stand up. Tony Crow, Ron Davis, and there's Vernon, and there's Todd back there. And thank y'all for coming, guys. And that being said, Terry, would you open us up with prayer this morning?
Let's stand. God, we thank you for this day. Thank you for this privilege and opportunity to serve in this great county. We just ask your blessings on the meeting and peace and prosperity to this community. For it's in Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay, we got two new members here today. We got Terry and Robert. Terry, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and give a little bio on yourself.
All right, I'm Terry Tibbetts. Been in Paulding County for 58 years. My dad's sitting right here. He's been in Paulding County almost 89 years. So we go back a ways. I'm retired out of Georgia Tech, where I ran the largest research lab there at Georgia Tech when I retired. Continue to work there on a part-time basis, and pilot, mechanic, FAA inspector. Been around the block a few times, glad to be here.
I'm Robert Krause. I lived in the county for 14 years. My wife's lived here all her life. If something she or her family is, then you're not from Paulding County. I own Krause Consulting. We are a geographic information systems house. We do site work for location of businesses and construction companies. I've worked in the engineering business for the last 15 or 20 years. We have done work for the county in the past, in the distant past, and we have done work for clients within the county for locating new businesses here and for improvements to infrastructure. And again, my background is primarily in computerization and geographic information systems.
Thank you, guys. Honor to have y'all on this with us. Okay, anybody want to hear the minutes from last month, February 17, 2016?
Make a motion we approve.
Second.
All in favor? All righty. Anybody had a chance to review the financial statement? Any questions about the financial statement?
Blake, you want to explain that $1.6 million still on the financial statement that I questioned last February meeting due to Paulding County? You want to explain that?
Where's it at, Ellis?
Under liabilities, I believe you sent an email after the meeting and stated that that was money due to Paulding County, and once we received approval of the bonds, that was paid back to Paulding County. So can we take that off now, or we got to wait till the fiscal audit for 2016?
Chuck's here. We've had the audit done, but Chuck, correct me if I'm misstating something, we don't yet have the adjustments to the.
I have them. I
You have them
received it
now?
about a week and a half ago, but I've been covered up. I've not had a chance to do those. I don't plan on getting to those.
Okay, but obviously this is tax season, and that's Chuck's primary business is taxes. So, but you do have them now, and we'll be able to get that corrected before the next meeting, hopefully.
Yeah, I looked at to see if that's addressed in there, but it should be. Because that money was put on from the 2014 audit by the auditors.
Correct.
So that is an error. So
It's not an error. We have things that are on the financial reports that are put on by the auditors at the end of the fiscal year. And Chuck and I have taken the approach that we're not auditors, and we don't feel comfortable taking them off until the following year's audit is done. So it is something that we're aware of, and maybe the best way to handle it is for us to put an asterisk by it, put a note at the bottom of the page saying that these items are placed on by the auditor and they'll be removed when the audit is complete. We have the notes from the auditor. I don't know of any other way to handle it, but that's something we can do if that would help you think.
well, I'd make a motion we approve it with that notation explaining that $1.6 million stated on the statement.
Okay. And Chuck, can you, for our purposes, for the financial reports moving forward, can you try to place some sort of notation on anything on the financial report that was put there by the auditor? It's not
Okay.
something you or I put
Okay.
there, and let's put a note and simply address it as remarks or comments from audit.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? You already made a motion?
I made a motion.
Second.
All in favor? Joe here this morning?
No, Joe is not here this morning, and I do not have his report. However, he's relayed, February was not a good month. Weather was bad, a lot of rain, a lot of cold weather, not a lot of rain. So don't have a report, but generally speaking, he said February was one of the worst months that they've had in several years, so for whatever that's worth.
Yeah. Well, that's not bad. Okay, moving on. All right, Blake.
Got a couple things I wanted to cover this morning in our report. First and foremost is we did have an aircraft last Thursday that made a, I wouldn't call it an emergency landing because he didn't declare an emergency, but he made a landing that was not a normal landing, I guess you'd say. And he couldn't get the aircraft stopped on the pavement. So the aircraft it rolled past the end of the runway and down into the grass area. So there was no physical damage to the airplane. The pilot was not hurt. He didn't call for assistance or anything. But he couldn't get stopped on the runway. He stopped out in the grass area. So when we notified the FAA of what had happened, they said, well, you need to leave the aircraft there in the safety overrun until we can send somebody out to take a look at it. So they sent someone out Friday morning. He looked at it and said, okay, fine, go ahead and move it. And the aircraft was towed back up onto the ramp. The aircraft belonged to a flight school, I think, out of Gwinnett County. And they've had to call their insurance company to come evaluate the airplane and see if the airplane's okay to fly out. I think they're still waiting for the insurance company to release the airplane to fly back out. But at least wanted to let you all know that we had a non-standard landing and no injury, no report, no 911 call, nothing like that. But at least wanted to let you know that it had occurred. Next thing is just a brief update on the environmental assessment. It really hasn't changed much since last month. They're still addressing all those comments. As I've stated in the past, they had well over 3,000 pages of comments from attorneys and consultants and others to weed through and review. They have submitted some responses to the FAA for the FAA to review, and they're trying to finalize those. So hope that will be done in the next couple of weeks, but it's an awful lot to go through. And the last thing I wanted to cover is we're working on a new flyer for the hangar, for the corporate hangar, and this is something Yolanda's been working on, and just wanted to have you take a look at it. Very excited that we've got Mr. Krause on board, that he has some background in doing this type of stuff, doing promotionals, doing flyers, doing brochures, doing all different kinds of marketing and advertising material. So now that we've got him on board, I'm going to lean very heavily on him to give us some ideas and help us out with this kind of stuff. So, but we continue to market that hangar, and hopefully we'll have us attendance soon. That's all I've got under my report. If anybody's got any specific questions, I'll address them.
Have you come up with a square foot price on this hangar yet, Blake?
We have come up with a square foot price for the entire facility, and then we've also come up with the individual pricing sheet, which you approved last month for the specific airplane types. So yes, we have both. The pricing per square foot on the entire facility would be 50 cents a square foot.
Okay, on the entire,
Yes.
that's offices too?
That's just the hangar. Since the offices are not built out, we're going to have to negotiate the office price separately based on what the build out of the offices is. If they want to take it unfinished, then that'd be great. But if they want us to finish it, then we'll have to negotiate that price based on what the cost is to the office construction.
Blake, did we get the flooring finished?
We do not have the flooring finished. I met with Prime, I guess it's about 3 weeks ago now, and there is still some reflective cracking in that floor that's coming up through the slab. And they are looking for another alternative to try to deal with that reflective cracking. Right now, they don't have a solution. And we're just looking to see if it's going to get any better, if it's going to get any worse, kind of what the case is. Of course, we're using the hangar. We're using it. We're bringing aircraft in and out. We've had a number of aircraft that have gone in for 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 nights due to weather or due to just being a transient aircraft or whatever. So we're using the hangar, but I do hope that we can find some permanent solution on the cracks we've got in the floor. Any other questions?
I'm good. All righty. Anybody else got anything about the hangar? All right, approve RFQ review committee.
All right, as all of you are aware, we have to go through a selection process for our airport engineer every 5 years. It's required by the FAA. It's not something that we do because we like it or we don't like it or whatever. It's just simply required by the FAA. So every 5 years we go through a selection process to select an engineer. It's referred to as an engineer of record for the airport. Our 5 years is coming up in May, so we have started the process of selecting a new consultant. We advertised, of course, in the Dallas New Era. We advertised through Georgia Department of Transportation's website, utilizing their, they have a list of consultants that are approved to do certain types of work. So we sent this out to all those consultants. And the proposals came in last Friday. So we received 2 proposals, one from Holt Consultant and one from W.K. Dixon. So we need to do a review of these 2 consultants and make a selection or make a recommendation to come back to this board for a selection. So I have asked for some volunteers to serve on that committee, and then I've also bribed some people and twisted some arms to get some folks to serve on that committee. So I have a list of names here of folks that have tentatively agreed to do that. 2 of those are our 2 new members, Terry and Robert, also Carolyn and Ed Hepler, who is with the FBO. He has extensive military background, a lot of work with contracts and acquisitions through the military. And then Robert Reynolds with our ADO, who obviously has background with dealing with all different kinds of consultants. So that's 5 folks for the committee. If anybody else wants to volunteer, I'm happy to have more. But glad with having 5 folks to review those. And again, they'll review them, rate them, rank them, whatever you want to call that, and then come back to you next month with a proposal for who we will select as our engineer for the next 5 years moving forward.
Blake, I'd like to sit on that committee.
Absolutely. That makes number 6. Any other volunteers?
Yeah, big fat no.
All right.
Okay, we need to vote on these people?
Yeah, I think it's yeah, it's a committee. I think you should.
Before you can vote on it if you choose to.
Let's go ahead and get a vote on it.
So moved.
All in favor?
Second.
Any second?
I'm sorry, did you have your second?
No.
Oh, you need a second.
You need a
Okay,
second.
A second.
Okay, all in favor?
No.
All right. Thank y'all for volunteering, guys. Okay, approve special events permit.
All righty, we have a nonprofit group that has come out and met with us, I guess, probably 3 or 4 times now at the airport. The group is Paulding County Uncensored. I don't know if you're familiar with them or not, but Stormy Curtis is the person that heads up that organization. And they do a bunch of different events in the county, and they do a bunch of different, like meet and greets, and they do fundraising for other nonprofits. Anyway, it seems to be a great organization that does a lot of very, very positive things for the county. I know that she has a special needs child and does a lot of stuff specifically dealing with that. But she has come to us with a number of events that she would like to host at the airport. She has had 2, what are those called? networking events at the airport that were just done, inside the terminal building there. But she has a number of other events that she would like to do on the airport this coming year. So she's turned in 4 applications. The first one is for April 30th, and this is for an event titled Spring Fling, Celebrate Play. It is a fundraiser for nonprofits with food trucks, jumpies, face painting, all that kind of good stuff. The next event that she has submitted an application for is in June the 11th. It's called Fly In Cruise In, which is like a car show, airplane show. And again, this is a fundraiser for nonprofits. The third one is an event that she calls Paulding Got Talent, and it is in August 6th. Again, a nonprofit fundraiser. And then the last one is another fly-in, cruise-in, which is the same thing as the previous one. This was scheduled for late September the 24th. So I do have these 4 applications that need approval. And if you've got any additional questions, I'll try to answer them if I can, and if not, then I will reach out to Ms. Curtis for any additional information you need.
What's the name for her organization?
It's called Paulding County Uncensored.
Okay.
Blake, have you explained to them about FOD and all the liability that goes along with having an event out there on the ramp and the runway?
Yes, we go through that with anybody who comes in and wants to turn in an application to do anything at the airport, discuss the cleanup procedures that are required after the event, discuss the security that's required during the event, and as well as the insurance, which is, of course, a big deal. So she is aware of all of those things.
What's the limits of liability insurance?
I believe it's a $1 million blanket just for an event like this. If it's something like an air show, it requires something more, but for these types of events where you really just have people walking, and it's, most of your liability is triple hull, so it's $1 million on those.
Blake, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Have any of us seen her, any of her events, been to any of her events to see
What's
her?
that?
Has anyone been to any of her events and seen her events to see?
Yolanda and I have been to the networking events that she's had at the airport. I think the first one had 8 or 9 people, maybe. About 70 people. The second one had about 50 people. She did the event with Peller back, I guess it was in the fall. The Flick on the Flatline that they did at the airport in the fall was actually a partnership between Paulding County Uncensored and Peller, I believe. She was the one that did all the food trucks and all of that stuff, and then of course Peller folks did the movie, so it was.
She's a member of the chamber.
Well, I know she's come to Hiram on to do all of our events too, and, I'm just wondering, are her events usually successful or?
It's a good question. They're free to get in, so considering that they're free, I'm sure that she probably does attract a decent amount of folks. Anything that's free around here, people like.
The Flick on the Flatline was out there, it was a huge success.
It was.
People loved the food trucks.
Is she looking for sponsorships or anything like that, or?
I don't know, Calvin, possibly, but I can't answer specifically. I don't know.
Well, I know with Hiram, I think that's where a lot of her income's gonna come from, is
If it's free,
sponsorship.
she's got to have the sponsors. Yeah.
Mhm.
Right.
If she's gonna be doing this many events, do you think we could get her to come in and kind of give us an overview of what type of stuff she does, examples?
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm
Kind
sure.
of show us, we have a better idea of what plan.
Sure, yeah, I don't see any reason why you wouldn't be able to.
If it's just one thing, maybe not,
Right.
but she's gonna be booking the airport every month.
Right. The only conflict I would see is the first event that she has scheduled is April 30th, and we don't have another meeting until the middle of April, so that would probably not allow her enough time to host this first event. So I don't know if you want to tentatively approve this one, or if you want to,
Why don't we just approve the April one and then get her in here for the April meeting, and then we'll get that one approved.
What's her name again?
Stormy Curtis.
As it is charity. You gotta use this airport for something. So, I need a motion here to approve April the 30th amendment.
I make a motion to approve it.
Second.
All in favor? Okay. I need a motion to go into closed session, discuss real estate and litigation.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? All right. Okay. Need a motion to go back into regular session. All in favor? Any questions or comments? Artie? Got anything?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? All right.
Nice day. Yeah, I'm working.
Camera?